For a little rest after breakfast. This is the life. Wait a sec. Isn't something important supposed to happen today? Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on!
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and you two may exit the Fortress of...
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's hurry! Huh?
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks.
Let's go ask the Duke. Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two. Is there...
Yeah, what was with that earthquake?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. And over the years of serving as the warden here, I've developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides,
So the fortress is okay?
if you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates.
Huh, you've got a point. Okay, by the way...
I believe...
Wait, seriously?
Ah, yes.
Yep. It's you two. Are you leaving now? That's right! Today is our last day in prison. But now that Paimon says that, it doesn't feel like we were Oh yeah, Paimon feels... Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss you.
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go. The guard...
You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries, you must be...
Ah, so you do have a polite side.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companion. Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back to see you.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to stay out of trouble. Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. That's the end of another chapter in our... We should probably go report to him now. Next... You're going to see Monsieur Nervillette? Please pack...
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe it would.
You're right.
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies, Monsieur. Excuse me. Would you mind helping me? I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands.
Everyone's so busy. Neuvillette!
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment, as there are... In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink...
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish.
All right. That should wrap...
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the fortress of Meripede, and it appears that you've...
That's right. And we came here to...
A massive...
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something... A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume...
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right. We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about it.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, the source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time and have already returned to normal. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her.
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding coastal areas to avoid... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first.
There's no time to lose. Let's get going.
Please be careful.
Navia should be around here, right? We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's someone on the roof.
Just stay put! We're coming up! Watch your balance!
All right. I'm not young anymore.
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened? It hurts!
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You can hold...
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson.
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of...
He's wounded? How?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded and he saw the ground...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll be in charge. I'm sorry.
The situation in Poisson?
Right. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. The rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't... Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. As the water levels rose, they suddenly disappeared. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been a lot of casualties. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. To ensure everyone's safety, no one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the residents.
How awful. And
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish...
is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You don't know how much it means.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes. Seems...
Okay. The wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support of course, we should remain ready for anything. Traveler, Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you. Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson,
Right. That's how things are now.
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Maloose and Silver... They won't...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still... They were helping evacuate the resident, and... I've known them for so long. And I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Maloose and Silver, they're just... gone.
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect...
I can understand. Besides,
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps we might even have a...
How could Master ever be upset with you, Demoiselle? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not? Everyone ends up...
buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be...
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us could...
Personally, I believe we fill those...
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously.
But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip?
I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But... I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better.
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, Maloose and Silver have helped me so much. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay with you.
Thank you. Right now... By the way, you can have a look at this. It's a list of...
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, So, everyone else is...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. We lost the overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't think that way, Navia. One person might... Malus and Silver were not the price for saving anyone. They're heroes!
You're right. What you said just now was pretty amazing.
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate them to higher... As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
We just met recently. Right, Miss...
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even crossed my mind that if it... Thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on. I'm sure...
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before, and my subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they... As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy. Lending your organization a hand was a natural...
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only wish that my people could have arrived...
Don't say that. You and your As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any specific... I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some noble-sounding word.
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate.
So, you're one who will try to change fate, then?
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh?
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Maripede's sluice gate, and this... Indeed. Allow me to share the... During some recent investigation, judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation... My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly.
So that's why the Fatui were...
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to... Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their...
Oh!
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family, it's only natural that...
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right? We can handle that.
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss Navia?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some ruins?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But there's no point in being depressed. Besides, I'm also doing this for...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right. The ruins are to the south of Point.
Okay, the three of us will... So,
They seem to be pretty ancient.
let's go in and...
Just be careful.
You're here!
Is that...
Monsieur Neurvalette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for yourself.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me every... Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that, but you found them in some ancient...
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the... The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know...
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as you have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool.
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start.
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
I assume you've been outside for a while.
Oh, you noticed.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basic. Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this. But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That natural.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world.
That's what family should do. Sit.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a...
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you?
Me?
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her.
Huh? Didn't you say that you...
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what...
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go...
In that case, do any of you have experience?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette... I've also...
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinate...
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like...
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way to the trap.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle...
Kind, as always. However, if we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that...
Wait...
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harm.
So...
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, and the hunting metaphor, but we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god.
Oh, so that...
It's been a tough few days, has... Paimon didn't think them... Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks... It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any After all, you're the most reliable person... Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you do... Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before!
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here!
Ah.
Wait, you are from
The voice from the sky, Huh. You're feeling lost now. Consider me a passerby. Just accepting... The prophecy. Yes, what has been...
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. So just as prophecies are usually only the future, are the things that you shall see different from the...
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are ultimately, fate shall serve. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your...
The voice. It's gone. Alright, coming! Hey, it's you who's getting lazy.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Luna!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I... Not all Fontainians are pessimistic about this.
Did she have pink...
Why, yes! It was Charlotte. You remember her. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few...
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear...
Yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times, but I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler,
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for, and believe in, me. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart. And I did originally think of steering...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff... I need to get going. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. But also kinda sad, too. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go! Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Business you're in. Gotta keep up with the changing times.
things are Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Thus, did an Outlander friend. So while the fortress is in journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail. Huh. Charlotte took so many She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the... Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those... We're here! Paimon's hungry. Should we go in? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go! Paimon's sure it'll be great!
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after... Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalet was right. You really can.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and...
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have...
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would...
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but... maybe...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake to... No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about... She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only... I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You do...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon... It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here. Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat. Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick—
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table. It's...
Really? Oh,
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you... So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary...
Huh? So your article in the paper to...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days.
Oh, in that case, we'll just...
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be...
Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, from what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit... Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish and And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note...
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? Paimon's been thinking, if it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow. No, Paimon should ask if you could choose. We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road. You mean, still traveling? Huh. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but...
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillat sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Mirapede. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her. loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people to... That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could Good.
Don't worry. This is more than enough to... Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic. When Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, it would be hard for her. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away. Huh! Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer. In that case, there's... possible. That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I am so... Give up, Farina. There's no point in all... I'm sorry. But what can I even do? Other than to repeat... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just that...
So it is you, blonde
Farina, you were crying just...
what do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was... Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my... They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their... Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marechaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid That's against the rules. I can't...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before...
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is... No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind...
It can't be. It's...
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation...
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally, indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy, but just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honest, don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually...
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my... A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond, and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage,
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of...
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve... Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice. The embodiment of justice...
May I interpret these words as your refute? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god... I see. It seems like you have made up your...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how odd.
Lady Farina, what is the...
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my... I will admit that I've been running away. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable... You are not the only ones to be disappointed. But now, it is time for the... I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world... This time... Applaud and rejoice. One of the most Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo!
Oh, now we're making...
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is...
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then... Also, please allow me to ask, just how much work did you do to force...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by your... So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in...
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather...
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Erin was an Archon. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such a... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion... Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only...
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived. Oh? It's fine. It matters not. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this... Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for another. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a Fatui Harbinger. The fortune... the words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be true.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this, of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. How—
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to... Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they... See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to... And if I was not the Archon, then how did...
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon... But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervillette?
Lady Farina is...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult.
Well, Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have... Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans... For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house.
That doesn't sound... You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared child...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information.
I never thought you'd use...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you... Instead of having been created by you, the manifestation...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she...
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection.
You don't need to go.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of... Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for the...
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone! Please, I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has come...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our aunts?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear... Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area, including those of some... So, Miss Farina, would you if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina...
If Lady Farina's...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed.
Well, of course you had to tell her that. But
she's just staring at the...
What's going on? Is she really planning?
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Hey! now! I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take... That's...
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample. It's a great thing that the direct sample was an act.
I can't... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened? Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon... Also, if I was really just a human, why... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds...
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
Come on, just fast. Of course, it is only.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your Instead...
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey. Charge accepted.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am.
I don't think anything.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale.
Well, what's wrong? What's the oratrice?
No. The oratrice also displayed.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the to be punished via.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I'm always.
The one and only time the death sentence.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the oratrice? We just wanted to use.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes?
Yeah! Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was. But now, the oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still...
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission, Father...
Is that the first? Huh. So the knave...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing...
Huh? So what do you see? What?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stones. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other... The first stone slate describes what you just said. Does that mean that the second stone slate this must be the point where the third slate shows the Hydro Archon. That reminds Paimon. Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after...
We know from the case, and the first, this might... The prophecy from... Perhaps what is about to take the true sin of the Hydro and the original sin cast down. It's not as simple as fall. When Navia fell into the sea, the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be a...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the... The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, look... it now, but then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by... That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty.
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like with Navia? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro... In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by she poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race, and thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of...
So we were...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death?
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are... They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal... You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by... Therefore, the meaning that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Arc. Yes, it refers...
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, in truth, everything we've done...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the shore. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only... As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered... This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the...
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
That's way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well that whale does not belong to Teyvat. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's prime, and once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she...
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea...
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connect. Anyway, now that we...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too...
You are not Farina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign...
Focolo. Why...
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principle...
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the 7, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles. Allow the prophecy to... I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume, although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left, she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain, and her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human. Anyway, so then I cursed. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I'm... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor, The eyes of countless Fontainians are upon me. I must... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
There is no escape!
Leave my space!
Windblade!
Let me scry! Illusion!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Go as planned!
Disappear! Windblade!
There is no escape! Shadows of fate!
Yeah!
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are...
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can this...
Mirror you, huh? You know what?
Mirror me?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait. I know. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Arc...
Oh, very good.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster...
But Doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian, just...
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the stuff, but if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other.
You truly are the perfect... I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs...
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has to...
Play as...
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role...
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity... Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how long am I...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many... But I promise you, all will...
A trial? Huh. How The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first... What should I say to most... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be as the god Focalor. Once again, thank you all for this. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an...
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Right. Calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive, with a strong... Oh, very good, my... Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage. Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness what you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut. Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Her personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hand. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be... There is... So long as...
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just... Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking for.
If I may be so impertinent.
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial...
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance. Oh, I'm afraid that... All right. Deuteria, is it?
You remember? He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your word.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future...
You're such a gentle and wise god.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of...
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to... All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry...
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute...
Really? Have they...
I'm afraid that they haven't found it.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This is... The day is finally over. I haven't, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep... All right, Farina.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases as well.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen...
Lady Farina, I've waited...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should... I don't think I just... I feel utterly exhausted.
Lady Farina, it's like I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great...
Surely...
What is it?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. This must be the overflow of hydro.
A manifestation of your power, then.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined that it would have reached my limit. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone, although I don't know what...
Share. That's impossible.
But even if you're just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that is in... He's right. I could confide, but if things don't play out as expected... No, Farina. But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in... If you let this opportunity slip, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never...
Yes, it had to be done. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5... It seems that trusting humanity was...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. But that is only... How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the... It now seems that that person was you, hidden with...
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would... Alas, your understanding of this device... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a... Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, Not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy the vast majority had to be.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and...
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only... But only power of this magnitude...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the the destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Soul.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well... Hydro Dragon, Hydro... I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially... Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole... I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontaine... In other words, existence was Egeria's justice. And to me, justice is the continuation of that defying the prophecy and ensuring that at this point, we, whether it be myself, Iudex Nervilette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now, at last. I now understand that, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. You are things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervilette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Codex Nouvellette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved...
It's time to end this. We must...
Didn't you say just a moment?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain... We should seize the opportunity to pursue our traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer... The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast. Come with me, traveler. The... to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon. I shall look for an opening to go.
There is no escape!
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility. Cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within. ancient dragons. Witness the might of the primordial sea.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the mean. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point.
That power.
Paimon has an idea. From which, it's just that he gave us the impression that she was,
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as—
Miss Skirk?
The point being—
Well, being that this pet, so what sort of person is your master? Well—
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry. His name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine-Doctor's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names in title, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-Daughter. They're—
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planets. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full—
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you all right?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong. The soil renewed. The Suina di Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia. Old soil can skyship. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a people always call... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the value for these Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship.
Paimon's curious.
And that's exactly... Oh, this time...
Do you have anyone doing maintenance on this statue?
Navia!
Oh, it's you. What?
Hey, we're just having a... I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the
let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave, and our residents are hard at work.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the...
Huh? Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers. And...
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was...
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting...
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the...
How did it go? Was it a good shot, did Paimon?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Clarand.
Wow, you really do have that...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Maripede.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin who told Monsieur Nervillet, and he told you, right?
That's a very...
In truth, all Monsieur Nervillet asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly toward... I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move for...
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the way to the end?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke! Thank you for consenting to my visit.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you...
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr.
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
No, I just... This is my first...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did. The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that saved the people. Why, still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it. That ship is
Really?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this...
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo...
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try...
Ah, Siege.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. What? Sure. Come on, Miss Siegewayne.
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the...
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some...
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, which is a pity.
I'll just leave the spot. I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his...
He sure did win them over.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for a...
Oh, actually,
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duty. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave...
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go. Till next time, everyone.
There'll be a next...
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. All right. Last stop, the docks. Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is...
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them.
Oh, trick a friend. I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
I'll help.
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Oh,
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future...
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll be...
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had some... Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your...
That's all right. We were more than happy to help.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her.
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, it could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine.
Well, that's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about.
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change.
So there's some reason for...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which,
isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in...
Are you going to take the gnosis back?
That is our duty as harbingers. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh?
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magician.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall...
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled dinner.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met, too. I guess this must be life. We will all... All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see what Neuvillette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that... were going to have...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the... In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for... Alright, let's have it then.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter...
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fool. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the...
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to... Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of... But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life would... In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally...
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was... But whether it be by sentiment or reason, as for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the... Whether it was due to that liability by association...
Guess Focalor... hang on a second. Back when Fontainians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had...
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontainians would often come...
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all the...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no... Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans.
Paimon sorta gets it now.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Rise...
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the opera house.
but...
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or... In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will... But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens.
What about you then? What are your...
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to... This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on...
Looks like you're still considering stuff for...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many... As such, before I attempt... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's depart...
That's true. Wait, but the...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite...
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, the Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and as such it has lost all meaning. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be...
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of... Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiator. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless...
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will... Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still when we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that we guessed that there might be some reason for it that only
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. So regarding this specific issue, I was... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry up.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't... I can finally catch the scent of your power. What it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons. But with something very similar. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what...
Of course. You should have the remains of the third descent...
Remains? I've never...
According...
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her nose... But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young. And I have never returned to the surface since. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies...
What do you mean by...
No need to fret. These are just my...
This third descender you refer to...
Master never mentioned them to me. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe...
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not.
The remains of the... So that's what the no-seas actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces, huh?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is what...
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary... I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one. That means that the no-seas, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities... I wonder, does your body also...
Like being able to use up... No, let's not think about this stuff right now. Comparing the Traveler to the dead Third Descender and all? That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like the...
Yes. All of Focalor...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years...
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes... life flows like water. And what ultimately is the... It seems from your expressions that you still have more things. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully...